Hello folks, my name is Ben Watson. I've written a little bash script to automate processes of identifying an iSCSI volume from a StorSimple device, connecting to it, creating a file system and mounting it to a directory. And this is a little video to demonstrate it so you can all see it working. So first and foremost, we have a terminal open to the machine that we're going to be using as our test bed. It's a pretty vanilla CentOS image, latest kernel, and I have my script, which is iSCSI automation. We're going to make this executable. Quite simply, we have no disks that we can see. There's no multipath devices aside from our local level VM disks. We actually don't even have any packages installed, so let's asterisk this. Nothing there. Same for iSCSI actually. So a couple of things that the script does is it goes out and it identifies the packages that we need to install. We'll go off and install them via yum, and once we've got them, then it will start the configuration, and it prompts for a whole bunch of parameters and variables that we as a user specify. So without further ado, let's have a look at it running. So we're asked to, well actually first steps is we identify whether or not the user that we're running the script is a root user, and because if they are not, then they're prompted that this might be a good idea. Reason being that as part of any of these processes, we could really do with being a root user. There are lots of things that we need to do that unless sudo or elevate, then we are going to be stumped. So we'll actually show you very quickly using quite a crude example. Sorry if anybody's called Joe Blogs. Joe Blogs. Actually, before we do that, need to typing out what I'm thinking. Can't even type now, it would seem. And we can see that we're saying, please note that you are not the root user, whereas in our other terminal window we can see that we are the root user. So I shall indeed cancel that, exit, and I'll close that. So anyway, we'll carry on. First and foremost, we are prompted for a log location, and I'm going to just set, I use this pretty standard really. And what I will do actually is also, I just thought about this, call this prepared or what? I'm going to open up another terminal window, because at every step when we do something, I want to show you that we're doing it for a reason. That there's not necessarily anything that's there before, because this is a pretty vanilla install, and I don't want you to think that there might be smoke and mirrors. Won't do my ego much good after all. So if I ll the temp directory, we've quite literally got nothing there. But as soon as that's created, then we have. Oops. And we've got the start of our script here. So, right, back onto our other session. We have we've now been asked for first of our key details, so file system, and we can choose ext3, ext4, basically anything that we're able to use a make file system. So I've actually only got ext3 and 4 in this, but you could use xfs or anything, but maybe xfs might be more suitable if you're using larger volumes, for instance. Where are we going to mount our disk when everything is all and well? And if we just create something called StorSimple 01 off of the root directory, we can see that there's nothing actually here. There's also gonna have a look, and there's actually nothing anywhere that represents that name. So I'm going to call that StorSimple 01. And now we're asked for our iSCSI interfaces. Now, on my machine, I've actually only got one interface that's up. So we can see that we've got ETH0, 1 and 2. ETH1 and 2 are actually disabled because they're on the same subnet. Best practice state that it's not a good idea. So we actually need to check that we're able to get out to the net, which I don't. Are we able to? Oh, here we are. That's good. That's a good start. So I'm going to specify ETH0 as my first iSCSI interface. That's the only one that we're going to use because it's the only one that's up and it's connected to a network. So I'm going to quit out of this loop. Now we're asked for some details on the StorSimple array itself. So we'll log to the array and we'll have a look for some of the IP addresses. We can get those on the StorSimple interface by going to General Settings. We can see that we've got so management data 1, data 2, 10.18.271, data 1, 10.18.274, 10.0.14.236, and nothing for data 3. Do to enable CHAP for the initiator. Typically, most people don't, but you know what? We shall for this. And in order to do this, we need to set some CHAP settings. So we need to set some CHAP's target settings and some initiator settings. So this is CHAP is a challenge handshake authentication protocol, and it acts as another level of security to protect our volumes from people who may not be supposed to access them. So we're going to call this StorSimple CHAP user, StorSimple CHAP secret. Nice and imaginative, I'm sure we'll agree. So how that's configured. It's the same thing for our initiator. So CHAP works in two levels. We set CHAP for the target interfaces and we set them for the initiator interfaces. And actually on my other, let's say, so hosting for this is BHW CentOS 01, and secret we're just going to call this BHW. We'll call that user. BHW CentOS 01. Secret. Again, I'm not going to win any prizes for imagination here, but in a production environment we would do things slightly differently to make things a bit more secure and a bit more challenging. But for now, my small brain can't keep up with too much. So the initiator username, BHW, see I've forgotten already, BHW CentOS 01 user. The initiator secret, BHW CentOS 01 secret. The target CHAP username, so we've just set this actually, and it's StorSimple CHAP user, and the secret is much the same. And we've got a little prompt, and please make sure this is correct. So, remember I mentioned earlier that we've got our we'll go back and we'll tail a bit more. Since the start of the script, we've set some parameters, and these parameters have been passed to the script, and we're actually logging them here. we don't have multipathing libraries, so we're actually installing those, and we're installing them via yum. And then secondarily, we will do the iSCSI initiator. Again, the iSCSI initiator will install. And lastly, the other package that we install as part of this is the SG3 utils. We actually do have the SG3 utils already, so whilst we'll go out and install the multipathing and the initiator libraries, we actually don't need to worry for the SG3. So it's here. Now these std outputs are for our ping processes. So as part of the script, we are going to basically make sure that we're able to ping the target, because that's probably quite a good place to start from. If we can't, if our initiator can't ping the target interfaces, then we're going to get in trouble. And we've installed multipathing. So we've installed the multipathing, and we've made some changes to things to apply our CHAP settings. So we now have a little prompt that's saying, right, create your volume, create your access control record, and it gives us the iSCSI name. So that's following the install of our iSCSI package. If I can highlight and actually hold my mouse cursor straight. That's good. So we'll now go on and do stuff on the StorSimple web UI side. So namely, this is create our access control records. So I'm going to create a new record, which is going to be called BHW CentOS. We'll use that actually, BHW CentOS 01. Our CHAP user that we've created before is BHW CentOS 01 user, and our IQN has been provided by our script, which is very helpful of it. So now that we've had our ACR, we can go in and actually create a volume. And all of these steps in the StorSimple world are very, very straightforward. They're all very wizard-driven, much the same. We're just going to call this iSCSI automation test 001. Don't know how many hundreds of volumes I'm going to create, but you never know. I'll just give this maybe a size of 7 gig. Enable monitoring, daily cloud snapshot, which is a little feature that the StorSimple device allows you to do. Automatically protect it with cloud snapshots. And we're going to select our ACR. So I won't bore you, but I won't go through all of the details on the StorSimple side, but the type is quite interesting as well. So we're able to set specific types for our particular volumes that adjust things like fingerprint size and how the appliance deals with the data that's going to be written to the array. So we're just going to use a file server volume, and that volume's then created. So we can hit enter, and the next stage of the script is going to so what we're doing here, we're checking whether or not there are existing iSCSI sessions open with the target. So here we are saying that there's nothing there, so we are going to log into this target over the following interfaces, yada yada yada. And the little prompt that we've got here is that yes, we've connected to our target, and we actually can see some disks, and we're going to start creating a file system on the disk based on the file system that we specified earlier in the script. And that'll take a little while. It should be too long. It's only 7 gig in size. I did do a video where I created a 100 gig disk and then had to sit here for about, well, God knows how long. It felt like 5 hours whilst we were waiting for this file system to create. Not the wisest thing I've ever done in my life. an interesting thing actually that we can show you as we are doing this live is if we open up our IOPS per second report on StorSimple device, we have very recently changed the sample period. So very recently, as in the last few seconds, we've got some host reads and some host writes. Now this is the activity that we've gone off to the array and generated due to the creation of our file system. And actually, since we've been away, the file system process is completed, and we're now checking our disks. And there's a whole bunch of checking things that we do at the end of the script to verify that we've done okay. So firstly, we check the disks. It's been corrected. They've been correctly identified and created. We've got checking our multipathing, so we've got 3 paths active because we've only got 1 initiator path and 3 target paths, and 3 target interfaces. And we can see that we've got DM3, which is mPath B. So earlier we did dev mapper, and there was nothing there. And now we can actually see that we've got dev mapper mPath B, which is our multipath device. 3 paths all running in round robin as per our best practices. We then have our newly created mount, which is /StorSimple01, which is the directory that we created, has been mounted to this disk. Done, that's good. We're checking ECFS tabs, so file system, and so if we cat this, we can see that we actually have now a new entry that's been added for our device. And the moment of truth, we just run a very simple dd command to create a file in that directory, and then we basically read that file out from the mounted directory. And as we use variables all over the place, if that variable doesn't exist, then A, we can't create the directory, and B, we can't actually see the file. And then if closing statements, yes, we can see our /temp/iSCSI output, which is this is our log file that we created. Actually, if we less it the time, less is more. We can scan through, and this is all of the output that we've got from the script. What we're doing, so it's installing our packages. We'll scoot right down, adding our art filters to the interfaces. These are our pings to the StorSimple interfaces, 71, 74. Starting the multipathing daemons, and adding in our custom elements to the etc multipath.conf file. So these settings that I like to add. So this is our vendor and product path selectors, always round robin. Path checker is test unit ready. Failback, blah 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 blah. Blacklist our local device. Multipath and check config the multipath daemon, because we want to make sure it's always started. Similarly, because we've enabled CHAP, we actually have some settings for CHAP, which are actually placed at the bottom. This is our iSCSI.conf file. So our CHAP settings, which we've applied, because the default CHAP settings are all commented out anyway. We have specified that our authentication method is CHAP, and these are the CHAP values that we've so it's usernames and secrets that we've put in for the initiator and for the target, and again for the discovery of our iSCSI targets as well. Again, following off the output file, we've connected to our target. We've identified the disks we have. So starting off, we only had our local LVM partitions, which were created on SDA. Because we've got 3 paths to the storage, we can now see B, C, and D, creating our file system, which is good. That gets done, and we're now checking the disks. So again, we can see disks, and actually we've got a 7 gig volume, which is 7,500 megabytes in size. Again, checking the multipathing, and then checking the mouse, and we're checking S-tab for the mouse as well. That's the end of the script. Now we can see that again in our, if I type the command correctly, in our shell, see that we've got this, and we can actually, again I can't type, it's ridiculous, but we could touch, well, it doesn't really matter what we call, but in my current guise of typing, this is probably going to be as much use as we can do. We've got our touched files there, so I'm just going to remove that. And the other one, I can't remember what it's called, KP something. Not Kevin Peters. That's that really. So the end-to-end process of creating our of identifying a disk, connecting to it, creating our file system on it, mounting it to a directory, all from a few very simple parameters that we've specified from prompts on the script. So I hope that's been useful. Always feel free to ping me with any questions. Hopefully